Rutherford Weather Storm Alert.
All righty. Well, we wanted to pop on here just a smidge early to let us get an update here on what is happening now and what is on the way. I think this has been a very well-documented storm system. It looks like the timing is going to be just about right. We told you anywhere from 10 to midnight. It's going to be past that 10 o'clock time. It's 10 o'clock right now. We're not under a severe thunderstorm warning at the moment, but there are severe thunderstorms to the west. And part of the reason why I wanted to pop on here is just to let you see what's on the way, because this gives us a heads up to what is on the way, right? I was trying to send some things out here. So this gives us a heads up to some things that are on the way and a heads up of what has happened. And these storms have been severe. Maybe a bit more hail with some of the storms than we originally thought would be here. And let me take our radar off for a moment. One of the brand new things that we can do now is give you storm reports. And this is a storm report near McEwen of 2-inch hail. Now, we're talking about the size of a hen egg. Then just up the road from that, about 14 minutes ago, we got a report of 1.5 inches hail, which is about the size of ping pongs. So that's with the northern system. That's going to skirt past and not come through Rutherford County. This was a report up in Clarksville. It just says a severe weather report. There was a tornado warning briefly there. Is on the Kentucky side now. And then there's a tornado warning down in Mississippi. So if I turn the radar on and we take a look at everything, this is everything. Everything, meet Rutherford weather fans. Get my pen open here. So we kind of had a little line of storms pop out ahead. These were all alone by themselves, like this one down here in Florence for a bit. Some of them had some rotation with them. And this is our main squall line that's coming through. So this has to come through as well. The way it looks is we're going to get some of this storm, which is severe warned, and some of this storm, which is severe warned, as everything is kind of moving off to the north and east. It may begin an eastward direction and movement. We'll wait and see. So storms are inbound. Generally, what we like to do is go on if there is a warning up in Murray County. Because as Murray County, as the crow flies here, and boy, do we know how this works, from Columbia up through very southern parts of Williamson County into Eagleville and tracking on through Rutherford County. So that is what we see many times. So I can monitor the chat if there are any specific questions. In terms of school tomorrow, I can answer this question. Yes, at this point. And the reason it's yes at this point, the Rutherford County school system put out information that said yes, we're going to have school as scheduled on Monday, unless there are conditions that warrant that you can't go to school, like power outages, debris in the roads and things of that nature. So let's just see how things go here. Time frame, we're looking about, we're going to probably have things knocking on the door or in the county here within an hour. That's why I wanted to pop on and give you plenty of time. If you were waiting to get things ready, here we go. It's time. You may be actually hearing some distant rumbles of thunder. There is lightning pretty close to the Vergne area, as a matter of fact. Just across the county line there in Davidson. Continuing to get some hail reports. So the main line from Dixon to Centerville to Linden and Waynesboro. Okay, that's this line right here. So it's coming into the Middle Tennessee area, right? That is the back edge. Once this goes through, our severe threat is gone. Once this right here pushes through, what's back here may be thunder, lightning, yes, but our severe threat goes away. Okay? There's a new warning that will pop up here in just a second that's going to include Williamson County. So that's our adjacent county next door. Let me see if I can catch up with some of the questions here. Wind speeds with these storms. Okay, this particular warning has wind speeds of up to 60 miles an hour. Same for that one. So right now, that's kind of what we're looking at. But when this main line comes through, well, that one is 60 as well. The storm system up here in that's coming through Clarksville is warned for 70 mile per hour winds. Look how deep this reflectivity is coming back. That's where we're seeing the hail back in Charlotte and Dixon. Okay. So that's kind of where things are now. We're kind of in a stand down moment, taking a big deep breath. We're getting ready. Someone asking about storm shelters. And that gives me a moment. Let me pull up my locations. That's what I need to do. Let me show this on the map. So I have put into the radar, and it's probably a little small here. So I'm going to kind of circle them. Here in Walter Hill, 6413 Lebanon Pike. These opened about a half an hour ago. The Lascassas Public Safety Building, 6525 Lascassas Pike. Kittrell, 8055 Woodbury Pike. Plainview, 4950 Sledge Road. And Rockvale, 6540 Highway 99. That's where your Rutherford County Public Safety buildings are located, and that is where you can go and seek shelter. Now, as this line comes in, there is a moment where they have to say, for everyone's safety that's here, we have to shut the doors. So that's another reason to come on to let you know, hey, if this is what you feel like you need to do to be safe, now's that time to head to one of those shelters. Okay. I'm going to take those location markers off. the radar gets cluttered enough with various things. You can see our storm reports. Some gusty winds behind. Those will come in after it comes through, unfortunately, but this lets us know what we see. There are hail reports with that storm that's out to the west in Dixon. This is a look at radar, and I'm going to put it in kind of our super high res, if you will. Let that go around. Why is it always south, Murfreesboro, Christiana? It's not always, but that's where we look for storms to come through, because storms move from south west to northeast. So storms that come a little further north and go through Williamson County, well, those are often the ones that come through and hit Blackman and Smyrna and, Walter Hill on into Wilson County. Severe thunderstorm warnings are out now. Whether it's a severe thunderstorm or tornado warning, I don't really. That's something that comes from the National Weather Service. We'll take a look at the wind speeds in a moment. But right now, everything is severe warned. We're looking at the next hour. I'm going over through some of the chat to answer some of your questions. Getting some times of arrival here, too. So, okay. Something that is getting our attention here. All right, so I want you to look here. There's Eagleville, right? And right back here, we're seeing a feature where we're seeing kind of a C shape, right? It's right inside of that where winds ahead of this storm can feed in. And that can get this storm to begin to spin. Now, I'm going to mark this area. Now, this is back in Columbia, not here yet. But we told you we're watching Murray County, as we always do, right? Now, with that, I'm going to leave that circle up and turn on our wind speeds and see where I circled. Inside that circle, I didn't mean to do that. Inside that circle, you have winds that are blowing toward the radar and winds that are blowing away from the radar. This is broad rotation at this point, but definitely something that we will need to watch. In fact, let's take a look at it through the last few scans. See how it comes up through Mount Pleasant and now gets just a bit larger here, just west of Columbia. Tornado warning is on the way for this one. They are going to, National Weather Service is going to issue a tornado warning for Columbia and Spring Hill. So that's going to be Murray and Williamson counties. So our suspicion is right. And there it popped on there. You see that red polygon? It goes all the way up to the Rutherford County border. Let me go back to how hard it's raining mode. And this would take it up to the border. And if this was continued on out in the future, we would be looking somewhere in this direction. So this is a very, very early heads up for Smyrna, Laverne, just west of Walter Hill. For this storm that's down in Columbia now, headed toward Spring Hill, it is now tornado warned. If you've got a weather radio, it may be going off now. That's what that's for. We have no warnings yet for Rutherford County. No warnings yet for Rutherford County. We are just watching things to our west and to our southwest. These are two separate things here that are happening. We told you in some of the posts that we did and in the live that we did, that the high resolution modeling was showing that we could have what would be called prefrontal severe storms that could be capable of producing tornadoes. Those, if they pop out ahead of the line, see, they've got all of this warm, moist air that can funnel into them, right? That's what this storm is. This is our line. And within that line, we could have the same thing in terms of tornadoes, but those would be more of the spin-up tornadoes. So we are seeing a prefrontal storm, a supercell, all by itself. It's detached from the line of storms back here, doing its thing. It's now tornado warned to our west down in Columbia, Murray and Williamson counties. And there's the line that will come through as well. All along the line right now, this storm has a severe thunderstorm warning. I don't expect that to change as this system moves off to the east. So that's why this is your early heads up. It's 10:13 now. This particular warning is for the next 45 minutes. Now, let's see what happens if I do a storm track. It's going to move in this direction, right? Smyrna, about 45 minutes. I would say Laverne, same. Gladeville, which is just across the county line in Wilson County, we're talking about less than an hour. That's for this system that is tornado warned now. That does not mean it will be when it gets here. That does not mean it will be by the time it gets to Williamson County in just a moment. But that's for the National Weather Service to decide and then for us to tell you. Okay, let me catch back up here on some of the questions. That happened, right? So we got that done. It's looking like here within the next 45 minutes to an hour, we'll be rocking and rolling in the thick of it here, okay, here in Rutherford County. Can you show us what part of the main line will hit Murfreesboro? It's Rutherford County is going to get hit from there won't be a dry spot in the county. Okay, so this storm is moving. Let me put it in motion here for you. So I want you to see something. See how this storm is moving in this direction? So that is the storm that's kind of out ahead of itself. But this storm line that's behind, that is our squall line, right ahead of the cold front. It's kind of moving more along the lines of that direction. Not that the direction matters that much. This is still going to have to come through. Okay. Someone asked about, was that in the Blackman area? There is no warning right now at this point. But as you see at the end, and I'll stop this, so the warning polygon is there, the tornado warning goes all the way to the Rutherford County border from Williamson County. If that storm continued on into Rutherford County, this polygon would include places like Blackman, Florence, most of Walter Hill, and to the northwest, including Smyrna and Laverne. It's not now, and it may not be tornado warned by the time it gets here. Will it be a severe thunderstorm warning? Most likely. Could it be a tornado warning? Yes. And so that's always been the thing with this storm system. Severe winds up to 70 miles per hour, maybe 80 miles an hour, as well as tornadoes were all possible here. That's why we have this tornado watch until 3 a.m. I can tell you that it will not include us until 3 a.m. They will begin shaving off counties, I do believe, at some point, which has been the history. So we cover Rutherford County, but Cannon County, you'll be getting this right after, it looks like. A lot of you asking for specific areas. It's kind of hard to give you times for specific areas. But within the next hour, we're going to see storms in our Rutherford County area. The far eastern parts of the county may not see storms at that point, but you will shortly thereafter, if that helps you. So I'm saying imminently in terms of coming in the next few minutes, and then continuing for at least a couple of hours until this line gets here. See, this line, let me do a little quick measurement so I can show you. Just heard a rumble of thunder here. So this line is 36 miles from entering the county, 50 miles from getting into Murfreesboro. And it's 64 miles until it leaves Rutherford County into Cannon County. Okay, so maybe that helps a bit. You're going to notice the winds pick up quite a bit out there too, as if they've not been pretty breezy all day. If you know someone that could use this local Rutherford County weather information, this is your quick heads up. Tell them about Rutherford weather. Share the stream, like the stream, leaving comments, even if it's a thumbs up or something. That helps to increase its viewability on the platform that you're viewing it on. In the event we have warnings, we are also on radio on WGNS. That's 1019 and 100.5 on FM, on AM at 1450. Streaming at WGNSradio.com. That's where you could get the audio. Might not be a bad opportunity for you to throw that phone on the charger here for a couple of minutes and things like that too. Rotation quite strong now, northern Columbia. This is coming into Spring Hill. Let's take a look at our rotation. So this would be the area between Columbia and Nepopolis, Lanton, Davidson, Sumner, Wilson County. Getting a severe thunderstorm warning. While we have a second, go back to this. It's a little less messy. Let's take a look at some of our sky cams, shall we? Let's look from the Rutherford County Courthouse. We can see the lightning in the distance. If you notice the American flag about middle ways in that shot, right next to the cupola, it is blowing to the right pretty heavily. Saw some lightning just a second ago in that shot. See if we get another update. Sirens going off in Franklin, Lisa? Yes, because of the tornado warning in Williamson County. Let's take a look at another camera here. And this would be in the Gateway area. So that's in the Murfreesboro Gateway area, Medical Center Parkway. We can see the lightning in the distance. This is looking off toward where the storms are located. I think it would be looking to our southwest, honestly, from where this camera is. You're going to start to hear some thunder. Yes, here in Rutherford County. We have a camera in the Triune Amilville area as well. We've got a bit of a sky view there. We'll see if we see any lightning here in a couple of seconds. Just looking west toward Franklin and see there's some lightning there. This is our Siegel camera. And this is looking off toward the northeast toward Smyrna. And there we go. So we're seeing the storms as they come in. Let me go back to the radar. Keep hearing weather radio go off, and I see my information from National Weather Service popping in. Lightning is a big issue with these storms, as we see lots of lightning coming up from Spring Hill into Franklin. There was a report that I just saw about lightning hitting a house, and the house is on fire in Franklin. This is getting a bit confusing on our warnings. But now Williamson County, outside of the tornado warning, remember we have a storm that's moving, that's kind of a standalone storm, and then we have the line back here. And this line is being warned now ahead in Wilson, Davidson, Williamson counties. Then we have this storm here that's causing some problems with the tornado warning that's just over the county line. So that's our watch warning situation as it sits at this moment. Let me put the radar back on. Still seeing a pretty tight rotation here. Trying to look here. There are some questions about, is this a threat, a tornado threat or severe thunderstorm threat? And the answer is yes. It's both. Okay. That gives me just a second, because when we're looking at where these storms are here in a moment, depending on what we're looking at, and this is a point that I meant to make too, you should treat these severe thunderstorm warnings as a tornado warning, in the fact that you obviously want to be inside. Where else would you be at 10:30 at night? But that's for you to decide. But inside, because these storms are going to pack a punch when they come in. So no matter what the case may be, it's really good to heed the warnings here that I'm going to pop up here for you to take a peek at real quick. A safety plan. One easy thing to remember is duck. Okay? D-U-C-K. Downstairs, this is for a tornado warning especially, downstairs under something in the center of a building, and stay away from any windows. So you want to get in an interior room. Staying away from windows is a big thing. Center of that room. Put as many walls as you can between you and the outside. So again, that is some important safety information here. Starting to pick up some lightning strikes in the Blackman area west of Murfreesboro, between Murfreesboro and Florence. Let's take a look at some of our TDOT cameras. That's not really a great view there along 840. Hearing the thunder rumble outdoors. Thought we had a better view from that camera, but I guess not. I think one of our cameras may be down out this way, actually. So let's pick 24 at 840 and kind of make it small and put it over here. So we're going to be watching in the direction that we need to be. So we get a little outside view here too. Storms are picking up in Eagleville right now. Not warned. These are not warned out in the Eagleville area. This is the storm that we're watching here with the rotation. It's this storm here. Whoops. That's the storm we're watching with the rotation, and it is moving in this direction. Let me pull out here just a little bit, and because this storm is getting into the Williamson County area, let me do a quick storm track on the part of the storm that has circulation. I'm going to have to move this up here. Move it below the banner. We're talking Smyrna, Laverne in the next 27, 28 minutes. Walter Hill, 35 minutes. Gladeville, 40 minutes. If this storm holds together with its intensity, we're still going to get some of this storm. Is it going to come in as angry as it looks now? We'll just have to wait and see. Actually, when I'm not tracking, I'm going to move it back over here out of the way. So we have this line that has to come through as well. This is the storm that we're watching that is coming into Williamson County. See how wavy this is? This has a lot of wind energy with it. When we get warnings, we'll have storm specialists from weatherology join in and getting information from them. We can definitely see the lightning at the I-24 840 looking back toward the Williamson County area at this point. I'm getting some lightning detections here. Just looking at my phone's notifications so I don't miss anything that I need to tell you. We'll see if this storm in particular holds together. I have not seen an update since 10/18 on this storm down here that's tornado warned in nearby Williamson County. Again, no warnings at this point in Rutherford County. Just looking at a few of the wind speeds. Here is a TDOT camera at 840 and 65, which is down, of course. There's a camera, 840 and 65. And it is absolutely pouring. There's one lone car coming up the interstate. This is looking westbound. But it's so dark you really can't tell anything. It's another good point. Unless there's lightning, you're not going to see anything. So please don't go outside. Things looking a bit more ragged with this storm. The tornado warning continues. This is good news. The rotation near Spring Hill has been on a downward trend for the last few radar scans now. And I think part of the reason, you remember when I told you a moment ago that I showed you that distinctive notch, right? And that notch where we had warm winds feeding into it. Well, what do we see now? We see rain and storms down in Eagleville. These storms are feeding in to that. Okay, so it's taking away some of the energy needed for that to be as strong of a rotation. But it's still a strong rotation, and it's still in the next county, so we're keeping an eye. I said no tornado warning for Rutherford County. I did not say no tornadoes, nor did I say tornadoes for Rutherford County. We have severe thunderstorms that are capable of producing winds of 70, even 80 miles an hour. And we have storms that are capable of producing tornadoes back here within this line and anything ahead of that. And what we're tracking is a tornado warning in Williamson County. This storm on path, if this warning were to have been continued through Rutherford County, it would have affected places from Blackman to Florence to Walter Hill and all points to the north and west. But it is not now. We're just kind of giving you a big heads up. Let me put this into motion. Maybe it will help you see it a little bit better. And this is what we thought could happen here. So this storm coming out of Williamson County is going to affect our northwestern portion in some form or fashion. And see this line back here? This line is beginning to catch up to this storm. But this line, the whole line, is going to progress all the way through Rutherford County to the east. So we're kind of dealing with two separate situations. Maybe I can show you back with this. Okay, so we were that far away earlier, and now the storm is this close. So see how the distance is narrowing? That line catching up to the storm that is pushing to the north and east. You're definitely going to see thunder, hear lightning. I said that backwards. You're going to see lightning, hear thunder. So the storm is out of Murray County and in solely Williamson County now. So they've trimmed the tornado warning for our neighboring county back. So we'll see that kind of come just north of the Spring Hill area now. So that was weird. Let me do this. And now let me stop. So here was that warm area, and it still has what we would consider a notch in the storm. But before, there was no rain down here, no storm activity feeding into it, but now we do have storm activity. So we can only hope that that lessens the tornadic potential, but right now still warned for a tornado. Let me take a peek here. This is our situation with power outages. Currently, there are 556 without power in Murfreesboro, Rutherford County, it looks like. Whoops, let me do it this way. Three outages affecting 571, and that's in the downtown area. I'm going to leave that popped up there for you. They are dropping the tornado warning for Williamson County. It no longer needs to be warned for a tornado. So you're going to see that red polygon pop off of there. That is exactly what we wanted to see. That doesn't mean it's not a severe thunderstorm. But the storm does not, right now, it is below severe limits. Let's say this is an outage, Mercury Boulevard, which is now Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, but that still does definitely say Mercury, doesn't it? To the south of East Main Street, that's where this particular power outage is, up to Juniper, Baird Lane, right before it gets into John Bragg Highway. So that's where we have one major outage, and outside of that, only spotty outages. And when I say major, there are about 571 without power there. Okay? So we'll keep an eye on that. What made me think of that is there were some power outages being reported in other areas. No, Brittany, it has not hit Murfreesboro yet. That's what we're waiting here on. In terms of the severe potential, it does look like we've got storms that are coming into the Blackman area, Rocky Fork, but these are not warned for anything at this point. but anywhere to the west and now even to the north up into Wilson County and Davidson County, there are severe thunderstorm warnings. Continuing to track storms. They are looking at some weak rotation in Mount Pleasant. I don't think you want to see that. Don't want to see that either. We're continuing to follow the storm activity. And as we continue to all right, working to change a few things behind the scenes, so give me just a quick moment. Okay, we are making some adjustments here to try to get you information now on radio. So that way, if we have power situations, as things get to coming into Rutherford County, we'll have you covered. So we're not only on Rutherford Weather on YouTube, Facebook, X, but we're also on WGNS Radio for you here as well. Okay? We have no warnings just now. But there are storms continuing to come into the county. The storms are not warned, but we have severe thunderstorm warnings to our west. We had a tornado warning with a storm that was to our southwest in Williamson County. That has been allowed to expire. We have storms continuing in Smyrna, Laverne, really from Murfreesboro all the way up the I-24 corridor. In fact, let's check at 24 and Waldron Road. On the TDOT SmartWay camera, we can see lightning going there really pretty heavily. The storm in Nashville, just north of Nashville, if you know anyone in Hendersonville, Gallatin, that area has just been placed under a tornado warning. Reports of some trees down in the Charlotte Park area, West Nashville. Also picking up on some rotation down here in Columbia, and all of this still has to come through our area here in Rutherford County. No aliens. Greg, was something that was triggered. We do have that on if we have tornado warning, and for some reason that triggered here through our automatic. It's just kind of say, oh, that's different. That's weird. Again, no warning so far for Rutherford County, but I would say we're getting close. We're surrounded. Storms pushing in from Nolensville on into the Smyrna area, Laverne, Hickory Grove. But what's here now? Okay, so if you've got rain and storms in your area at this moment, it's not severe. Just looking at information here from the National Weather Service, and looks like Hendersonville. For those in Hendersonville, they need to be concerned and seeking shelter there. Also just got a text from Justin Bailey about that cell down in Columbia. That's a good point. He's saying that we're starting to see this storm bow, and you just saw a radar scan right there. All right, so let me bring you back here to this view. We're starting to see the energy kind of push this storm ahead from different directions, and it's kind of bowing it, right? I actually should have pushed it in a little different direction, but my point is we're starting to see that bow there, but there is some small rotation we're keeping a very close eye on down here with this storm that, as the crow flies, is about 23 miles, 24 miles from Eagleville. We're waiting to see when the National Weather Service, as this line progresses forward. But one thing we have seen is, for those who were with us earlier, the storm that was that we were watching go through Williamson County, well, the line is now caught up to it. So this is a very powerful line of storms. 60-mile-per-hour winds are almost a given. We could have winds that get up into the 70-mile-per-hour range. Keeping an eye on several things. Got to scream with the National Weather Service chat. Information comes out, things they're watching, things that have been reported. So all of that comes on there. We're looking at this camera that's at 24 and 840. Just here to our right. In fact, let me put us on here with our Skycam looks. We have several Murfreesboro locations there. I'm going to pull up somewhere right about there, 840, so we can get a good look. And wow. The tornado watch disappeared from here. Now, they had canceled the tornado watch in some areas to the west. There it comes back. Okay. So it was canceled and then, okay. That makes a lot more sense. Keeping an eye on the chat here just to see what questions may be coming in. Let me focus in on the north end of this storm, because this is, again, it's not warned at this point for severe thunderstorm or tornado warning. No warnings in Rutherford County. But we do have some very heavy storms up in Laverne down to Jefferson Pike, just west of downtown Smyrna. So we're talking Loafers Corner, Hunters Point, Living Springs, Summer Ridge subdivisions, Lee Road as it goes out toward Williamson County, Rocky Fork Road, Rock Springs, Walnut Ridge, Baymont, Wason Road, Mason Road. Those are some areas that are seeing heavy rainfall. Where is Minor Hill? I think that's down toward this is the extent of the entire line. Warnings all up and down the line. Minor Hill is down here in south of the Pulaski area. Just saw something pop up about that. We do believe if you have anyone that is in the Lawrenceburg, Pulaski area, Minor Hill, there apparently is a tornado on the ground down there. We do have heavy thunderstorm that's popped up over near MTSU, Double Springs, Scotland Acres. That was kind of in the area where we had the power outage reported. So just across the county line between Nolensville and Laverne here on the map, there's a big power outage in that area. And there is a severe thunderstorm warning for us here in Rutherford County. So severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for Rutherford County. For those listening on WGNS, you're probably going to get the emergency alert, but we've been giving you a big heads up here on this. But that is coming in at this moment. Severe thunderstorm warning. 60-mile-per-hour winds. And maybe 3/4 inch hail. Let me take some of this off here because I know it gets confusing. I'm going to take the radar off for a moment. Here's our warning area. So this is our warning. So I'm going to roughly do this down here. I'm going to put the radar back on real quick. Well, now that I zoomed in, I can't do that. So if you live really from Murfreesboro to the northwest, that is where the severe thunderstorm warning is located. Severe thunderstorm warning. Make sure that I have this going here. Okay. The severe thunderstorm warning will go for the next 35 minutes. 31 minutes now. So that's for this line as it pushes in. Let me give you some times of arrival here. Do a storm track on this leading edge, and then we'll move up the line here. Florence, 6 minutes. Walter Hill, 14 minutes. Las Casas, 19 minutes. Milton, 27 minutes. Now, you may hear your town's name again here in just a second. Just giving you some estimates here. Walter Hill, 12 minutes. Noreen over the county line, 24 minutes. Smyrna, Laverne, it's on top of you here now. And as it moves off to the east, that's Noreen. So that's Wilson County, and we'll let them deal with that. All right. Just looking around, making sure I'm not missing anything here. So we have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Rutherford County, and this is going to be in effect. We'll look at the text. 60-mile-per-hour winds, which could do damage to roofs, siding, and trees, including Murfreesboro, Smyrna, Laverne, Walter Hill, Las Casas, and points in other counties. This is not just for Rutherford County. You ask about Christiana, this does not include Christiana, just those communities that I mentioned. It's north and west of Murfreesboro. Blackman's included in this, the Whitehaven area, Regency Park, Fairfield Estates, Florence. It's going to be on you pretty soon. Green Acres, Belmead, Marathon Trail, Little Hope. But if you're south of that, there's no warning at the moment. In every camera that you see, there's going to be lightning pop up at some point, I would say. Someone was asking about on the radar, the red area after the front. Well, the front's going to be somewhere back in here, right? And that's in red. I should have done a different color. So the front's back in here somewhere, maybe even further back. But once this line goes through, the severe threat is over. So storms are still back in Franklin and down toward Columbia. All of those storms still have to progress to the north and to the east before they're out of our area. It's 11 o'clock. Boy, I tell you what, the Future Radar did a fantastic job on this. Let's go ahead and get Regina in. Regina is joining us here to get an update on what's going on with our severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Rutherford County.
Yeah, we continue to have that ongoing severe thunderstorm because of that threat for severe storms. This line has really kept its intensity as it continues to move to the northeast at this hour. So that severe thunderstorm warning until 11:30 p.m. Tonight for northern Rutherford County. We're looking at that severe storm lifting to the northeast right around 45 miles per hour. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts are primary threats with this, where we could still see maybe some quick spin-ups tornadoes. So don't be surprised if we do see those continue to be a possibility. Right now, we aren't seeing any rotation with this area of the storm, but we are still tracking that possibility. And right now, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts are primary threat with this line of storms that's rolling through northern Rutherford County.
Okay, Regina, thank you for the update. And we'll continue to watch this line as it moves off to the east. This is maybe one of a couple of warnings that we will be under here in Rutherford County. And this particular warning is going to go here for another 27 minutes. We still have to get this line through. We do have tornado warning up in Hendersonville, Sumner County, Gallatin. That's to the north. That's not our problem. we look down to the south and west. And to our south and west, we do have storms that are acting ugly. Now we have a new severe thunderstorm warning, and this is going to include, look at how large this is. It includes the rest of Rutherford County, all of Bedford County on into Cannon County, Manchester, Coffee County, Lewisburg. So that's for this entire line. We are seeing that there's some reports of damage to homes in Murray County. I don't know what type of warning or what type of damage that is from, but that shows you the power of the storms as they are coming in. So with that, let me take a look at some of the winds. We'll take a sampling of some of what we see here. $60 miles an hour easily. There are some pockets that are over that. We're seeing those winds blowing in here to downtown Murfreesboro, really encompassing a good part of the county, honestly, at this point right now. So that's a look at the winds and how the winds are blowing in. One thing that we did not see on this is anything that would show necessarily an area of rotation at this point. So just a big wall of wind. Expect that to continue. Some areas that have not experienced much in the way of stormage to this point. Riverview, Roland Estates, Walter Hill, Riverwood, Las Casas, Minor, Two Hills, Bryan Manor, Fairfield Estates. These are some subdivisions, things of that nature. But it's on the way. We are kind of starting to see this line beginning to get some push, a backward C here. So that's some really strong winds coming in on this leading edge. This is coming up on 840 and Shacklet Road. Let's take a look at that camera here real quick. But I believe this one is looking off in the wrong direction. No, I think we're good. It's west of Shacklet Road, though. But yeah, I think. Would be looking back toward the storm that, with this next radar update, it's like right on us right there, right? Storm right along 840, almost curves as 840 curves. Isn't that weird? Almost directly along 840. Trying to catch up with comments from the National Weather Service. See a lot of you in chat. Yep, everybody in Rutherford County is under a severe thunderstorm warning. Now, parts from really Murfreesboro to the southwest down toward Christiana. Eagleville, you're kind of in it right now, but Rockvale, it's on the way. High winds, 60 miles per hour plus. Barfield to Gum and Pleasant View and Floration, Kittrell. Your turn is coming. But as this storm pushes through, we'll be left with rain on the backside and temperatures will fall like a rock. You're going to wake up in the morning and could see snow flying. I'm serious. Someone reporting some hail in Blackman. See if we can see anything from this is 24 at 8:40. A lot of traffic out there for this time of the night. Right now, a severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for Rutherford County. So our severe thunderstorm warning will continue. Turn this down just a little bit so there's no echo. Look like our automation system kind of hard to monitor 4 different things at once, but I'm attempting. Very heavy rainfall right now. 24 at 8:40. Almost a blinding rain, as we could see. Let's take a look at 24 in Fortress. Coming into the downtown area here in moments. Another view from 24 at 8:40 from the other side. Trying to keep up with all of my messages here too, so just a moment to do all of that. So the leading edge will be coming into communities. Let me just give you a heads up in just a few seconds. Well, it's right there on you in Rockvale. Coming up toward really overall here in the next few. The storm is in Blackman. As we go on up the line here a little bit, around the Old Nashville Highway, Northwest Broad Street area in the Stones River Country Club. They're kind of next up. Cherry Lane Acres, Walter Hill, and State Route 266 or Jefferson Pike in just a few seconds. It's right upon you at Cutoff Road. There as you continue to go up 231 on into Silver Hill and into Wilson County. So you're going to have a lot of wind, a lot of very high winds that will come pushing in. Put the radar into motion here real quick. I'm hearing the wind really pick up here at the Hacienda. Let me take this full for just a second. I don't know if you can see the large tree between the two bright lights there. That is a very large tree, and it's definitely swaying pretty good out there with the winds that are coming in. So this is that leading edge push. Severe thunderstorm warning for all of Rutherford County. It is in the western third of the county where you have experienced or you are in the strongest winds and the heaviest rain. But it is beginning to push further to the east. And it will push across the county as we go through the next few minutes. I keep seeing questions in the chat about tornadoes. We are not warned for a tornado at this point. But I will have to tell you that sometimes severe thunderstorms can and do produce tornadoes. But there is no tornado warning at the moment for Rutherford County. Not seeing any reports of that. I did see that report of hail a moment ago, and I got sidetracked. I wanted to look at that here for just a quick second. And yeah, that was in Blackman a few moments ago. Could have some hail coming in just east of that around the Hickory Grove, Lake Farm Estates area. But if there is any hail, it would be fairly light. It's not coming in at the moment. Our radar is not showing us that we have much in the way of hail at this point. But everything beginning to congeal into a line of storms. Remember, we had two storms that were kind of merging together. It appears that they have done that. Okay, so we are giving you a quick heads up down here southeastern Rutherford County. Watching for potential rotation Marshall into Bedford counties. So that would be a heads up for Christiana and Fosterville and in that area. Let me take a quick peek here. That was from a few moments ago. So we'll continue to keep an eye down there, okay? But for now, not seeing anything in Rutherford County that's concerning. But we're about to get some really heavy stormage coming into Eagleville, right across the county line. That's going to track right on up the highway into Rockvale and into southern portions of Rutherford County here over the next little bit here. Okay, so let me check this new information. So much on the radar here. Another 27 minutes. Main line of storms now extends from Westmoreland to Lebanon to Murfreesboro, then southwest to Chapel Hill, Lawrenceburg, Cornersville, and Pulaski. Severe threat is over behind the line. Behind the line. Still could have gusty winds. Temperatures are going to fall pretty quickly in and through the 50s. Let me take a quick peek at our MTE outage map. Still looking at that outage of about 571 on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. And up to East Main Street. There's Juniper Court or Circle. And that would be it for Rutherford County. Well, there's another one small outage up around the lake, but that's about it. Well, I say that, and now getting some reports of outages in the Eagleville area. So that may be coming in with this punch of storms that we're seeing here. That was reported at 11:14, so just a couple of seconds ago. Now there's about 197 without power there. So it could be the wind that's coming in through Eagleville at the moment. Not seeing anything that necessarily sticks out, but that's where we do have some outages coming in now. Now we do have a report of pea-size hail in Eagleville. And that's why we see, as we look at the radar, we see some pinks showing up. And those pinks would be the small hail that's coming down. So hail from Eagleville coming into Rockvale. If the storm continues that same intensity, it would be into the Barfield area, then out toward Floration and Kittrell and Reedyville. That is the strongest part of that storm. Winds are definitely picking up. I can hear them picking up here. Let's take another quick peek. Can't really see a lot. But I do still see that tree swaying in the background there a little bit. Let's take a look from downtown. So the rain coming into downtown Murfreesboro at the moment. So if you're in the western half of Rutherford County, you've got high winds. Let me hold on just a second. This is the one I wanted to bring back up here with our sky cams, so you could keep an eye on those. So those that wall of wind coming into Murfreesboro. If you're out Lascassas and Milton, you haven't seen the wind like you're going to see here in just a second just yet. Looking at a few reports here real quick. Beginning to push through Rockvale onto Barfield. I do say that southern end of the storm is packing a bit more of a punch, it would seem, at the moment, with some small hail being reported. I am seeing people who are reporting power out in Eagleville, and we are seeing that. We're up to a couple of hundred without power. In the main part of right there in downtown Eagleville. Again, we have almost, 571 without power in Murfreesboro on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard and just south of East Main Street. Kind of seeing a line here, right? Kind of close to that. So if you're in Christiana, Fosterville, Bradyville, Reedyville, Milton, Las Casas, you haven't really started to experience the wind and the heavy rain just yet. But if you are in areas west of that, you have or are experiencing the heavy rains. Our northern severe thunderstorm warning has just a couple of minutes left, and we have about 21 minutes left in the current one. I don't know if we're going to get this line through the entire county by that time or not. Alicia just said rain started in Milton and the wind is wow. Let's see if we can get another report on what's going on with our weather. Regina Kroll joins us. Regina?
Yeah, we continue to have that line of storms rolling through. You mentioned some of those overlapping severe thunderstorm warnings, so we still have that one ongoing. That includes northeastern Rutherford County until 11:30 p.m. tonight, and then a severe thunderstorm warning for Rutherford County until 11:45 p.m. tonight, and then we have another warning. Right now, our main threat really going to be those strong damage.
Regina, thanks for that. And also, I saw that there was a report of some pea-sized hail in Eagleville. So that's with the southern extent of that storm, which we see an uptick in lightning activity there. And so this is what's going to kind of skirt the southern end of the county and areas that maybe have not seen the highest wind gust and things of that nature. And the National Weather Service was kind of pointing our attention down to Marshall and Bedford counties as we could have some rotation down there. So these are still things that we have to look out for as we go forward through the evening, right?
You're right.
Want to make sure everybody can hear. So throw in, if you're in the comments, throw a few thumbs up. We're having a little bit of an audio issue here, but we're trying to get Regina on and give us an update. I think most of those on radio heard that. I'm hearing myself go out there, so working on getting those little issues and kinks worked out. Let's see. Very hard rain. Someone reported Barfield area. Seeing lots of comments now. Thank you for that. Okay, so I guess I got that all situated. Looks like it's calming down there in Eagleville a little bit. Downtown Murfreesboro down to Barfield. Christiana pushing in there out toward Plainview. It's going to be headed down the John Bragg Highway, really areas around the Super Walmart and Rutherford Boulevard From there to the east, hasn't really gotten heavy just yet, but it is on the way. It's pushed through Las Casas and headed toward the Milton area. Really, the strongest part of this storm is right through the center of downtown, or right through the center of Rutherford County. Things calming down a bit up towards Smyrna and Laverne. Just taking a look at a few of the comments here. All right, we're in good shape there. Nothing from the National Weather Service at this point. I wouldn't suggest going out, but if you've seen any damage or know of any damage, you can pass that along. Once this passes through, we'll see a definite chill in the air, and it's going to drop like a rock to below freezing by in the morning. And yes, snow showers can be expected tomorrow. Looks like the entire Middle Tennessee electric service area has about 1,400 without power. 571 or so in Murfreesboro, in the area around the John Bragg Highway, and about 200, well, no, now about 500 without power in the Eagleville area. And I think the entire area is all up and down this line at the moment is not tornado warned. So that is a good thing. Take a look to see if we have any storm reports. We had a few out toward Columbia, but none here in Rutherford County at the moment. The overall lightning activity is heaviest from Rockvale down to Christiana. Roughly in this neck of the woods. And usually when we see an uptick in lightning, that doesn't mean there's not lightning and thunderstorm activity in other places, but when we see an uptick in the lightning, that's generally an area where we see higher. I'm trying to think of my words here. Where we see more, where we see stronger storms. There we go. I knew it would come out. So again, if you're just now popping in to see what's going on with the weather, severe thunderstorm warning. And this is for most of Rutherford County, I can say now. If you're from downtown Smyrna up to Laverne, that small sliver of Rutherford County, which pretty much this goes, just south by a mile or two of Sam Ridley Parkway. From there to the north, there is no severe thunderstorm warning. There's no warning of any type. The current warning goes for another 27 minutes. Sometimes these overlap to the point where they're hard to see. There's our watch warning map, and we can see that small northwestern corner. No warning for you. So we'll be glad to get all of us in that situation and this mess out of here. But get ready. Bring those winter coats out. I see a few people signing off and saying good night. See someone talking about a camera in Rutherford County. We're working on that. We've got a few. We're looking at some others. So they have canceled the severe thunderstorm warning. Let me take the radar off here real quick. All of Rutherford County is now getting the heavy thunderstorm activity, with the exception of a small corner from Kittrell to Floration to Reedyville up toward Milton, but it's on the way. But we can give some all clear to some of you and a few more of you, because this severe thunderstorm warning has been trimmed back just a bit. So let's make it easier to see. And so if you are not highlighted in the orange, you're in pretty good shape. So they're near Eagleville, really from the downtown on into Williamson County. Rock Springs, Rocky Fork, Smyrna, Laverne we told you about. We're in good shape. But the rest of the county still dealing with a warning here. And that warning will go for another 10 minutes. And we'll see what the National Weather Service decides to do out in front of that. There could be a small portion of the county still in it because, there's a portion of the county that hasn't had that leading edge just yet. Reports of getting kind of wild toward MTSU. Maybe so. Power went off for a second and then back on in Barfield. You could get that when this wall of wind comes in. Just looking at a few of the comments here. Making sure lights flickering in Reedyville reported here a few minutes ago. So if you're down around MTSU, I did see some comments about around MTSU. Yeah, we're still in the thick of it around MTSU here. Keeping a close eye on our power outage map. And those power outages have gone up just a tick here again. Getting some single outage reports near the area where we had the outage on MLK Boulevard. There's one near the Evergreen Cemetery as well. An outage of about 10 that are without power along the Nashville Highway, Northwest Broad Street, as it goes under 840. So the power poles may be out there, but it's just showing a very narrow strip, but about 10 outages reported there. There are 36 outage reports near West Jefferson Pike. Trying to see the as we get close to 840, Cutoff Road. So this is West Jefferson Pike near Cutoff Road. A few power outages reported there. Okay, so that's an update on the power outage situation. A few of you are reporting that your power went off. Thank you for those reports. Power went off by Joe B. Jackson. So we are getting a few of those reports. Still lots of thunder and lightning from really anywhere the western 2/3 of Rutherford County. Things are calming down in Eagleville and Rockvale now, but anywhere to the west or to the east of that, Christiana, Fosterville, in pretty good shape. Out toward Eagleville and Rockvale. To the east, not so much so. We still have to get through the heavy thunderstorm activity. Some higher returns coming in between Plainview and Big Springs wouldn't be uncommon. To see, well, I keep getting conflicting reports. I've got things coming in from all different directions. So let me check here. Looks like we're still rolling there on Facebook, right? And make sure we're still rolling on the YouTubes. If you're watching us on the YouTubes, let us know. Yep, I can hear myself there. Just say what I said. So we're good there. Maybe it's on the X machine that we're having a problem or two. Nope, I still see us going there too. So I think we're okay. So I can share with you a bit of good news as the leading edge is now pushing into nearby Cannon County. So if you're in Cannon County, here it comes. I know we have a few questions about that. We love our neighbors to Cannon County. But it's the eastern, I'd almost say, well, we still have some pretty good downpours from Murfreesboro up to Walter Hill, but that leading edge is where we have problems, right? Well, let me show you this. We can see where the tornado watch has been trimmed back. Clarksville, Centerville, Hohenwald, Waynesboro. We also now know that Lawrenceburg is coming out of it, or is out of it. Murray County, out of it. Williamson County, out of it. Davidson County, out of it. Sumner County, and Robertson County. So those are all of the counties that are out of the watch. So that's the good news that we're waiting for here for Rutherford County, and then we can all go to bed. I see some of you saying, I'm signing off, going to bed. Thanks for joining. Justin and Paul and several of you. We're going to continue. Let's see. Severe thunderstorm warning for northeastern Rutherford and eastern Sumner is now canceled. All right. So that will pop off here in just a second, if it hasn't already, off of our map. Let me go back and put the radar back on because some of you still have some very heavy rain, thunder, lightning, wind coming through. Someone lost power in the Halls Hill Pike area. Thanks for reporting that. I still hear thunder going out there, right here in my own backyard. Up to 2,200 without power from Middle Tennessee Electric at the moment. Amanda saying that Reedyville getting it now. Yes, you are. You're right there on that. So there's a new warning out that includes Bedford, Cannon, Coffee, DeKalb, Rutherford, and Warren counties. We're going to be under a warning here for a little bit longer, but it's going to be the eastern half, and it's not going to be until this whole thing is over. So let me do one little quick thing here. We've got 1 more minute left on the big severe thunderstorm warning that blanketed the entire county. And the new one will be in place for an hour. And that is going to go roughly, including between Las Casas and Milton, from Sharpsville down to between Murfreesboro and Kittrell, Floration, Pleasant View, Gum, Plainview, Fosterville, Big Springs will all continue in a severe thunderstorm warning for another hour. Now, that will probably be trimmed back as soon as the storms get out of Rutherford County. But you are the ones who are still experiencing what everyone else did before you did, right? We knew this entire thing was going to come through the county. But once you are out of the severe thunderstorm warning, you're going to be in good shape. We're going to continue. You'll probably still hear rain. You'll still maybe hear a clap of thunder. But that's quickly going to transition. You'll hear the winds continue because they're still going to be strong. But those winds will be coming out of another direction, and it's going to bring the north coolness into here. And boy, when I say cool, I mean cold. You're going to wake up in the morning, you're going to need the heavy coat, and you could see snow. Someone reported a brief outage in Buchanan. So we're keeping an eye on the power outages now. We have another pretty big outage that has popped up with about 1,300 affected. It's reported a few minutes ago over Halls Hill Pike included in that, down Rutherford Boulevard, up to about the John Bragg Highway. So this is an area over by the college. Someone just asked, do we expect any severe to pop up behind this line? And the National Weather Service, their meteorologist, Ryan Husted, just said no. So that's what we've been telling you here. Okay. Someone asking about schools. I'll tell you what I mentioned earlier. Rutherford County Schools said that they would assess the situation and call in the morning. Now, that was before any of the storms came through or anything like that. The storms have just now come through the county and are still affecting parts of the county. So that's what we know about schools. So if you're anywhere from Milton down to Kittrell, Floration, Pleasant View, let me go ahead and take this off. Now, you saw me X a minute ago, Murray County and Franklin, Williamson County, Davidson County, Sumner County. We are still technically under the tornado watch. That will be taken off as soon as the storms exit the county. But right now, we still have a severe thunderstorm warning. It says for the next hour. For the, we'll call it the eastern sliver of the county. And once the storms exit that area, we'll still be under the watch for a moment, but the severe threat will be gone. I just answered the question about schools. Schools are open unless they make a decision in the morning. And that's when the decision would be made, is tomorrow morning. New radar sweep coming in. And the big wall of wind is now in the heart of Woodbury, so that's how far east it is. Still storming in Milton and Reedyville and in our area that's in that severe thunderstorm warning, but the severe threat is quickly pushing off to the east. We're still going to be left with rain, a few claps of thunder. Not out of the question. In fact, it's still raining back in Jackson. Some pretty moderate rain in Nashville. But just to give you a for instance, that's not what I wanted to see. I wanted to see what the temperature was there in Memphis. Okay, let me just turn this on. It's 44 degrees in Memphis, 50 in Savannah, 48 in Lexington, 46 in Jackson. This is that cold air spilling in. Cold, cold air spilling in. Sydney, I'm not sure, asking, is it safe to go to bed? I'm not sure where you live in Rutherford County. We do still have a severe thunderstorm warning for a very small corner of the county, about less than a third of the county. But if you do not live in an area that is in orange, that's here in Rutherford County, which I have highlighted in white, that's Rutherford County. If you don't live in that orange area, you are done with severe weather. Some people asking about other counties and other locations. We cover Rutherford County, Tennessee. We have about 600 and some odd square miles in Rutherford County, and that's what we cover here. Pop the radar back up so we can all see. So yes, it's still raining in places like Laverne and Smyrna and Walter Hill and Eagleville and Rockvale. But the severe threat has passed in those areas. Let's see. Trying to pull up a particular location. Not exactly sure. It won't be long for those of you that are still under this warning. As soon as the National Weather Service tells us that this severe thunderstorm warning is canceled for Rutherford County, I'm going to tell you, and then the entire county will be clear. Then we're going to take a step back on radio and go back to regular programming. For those who are listening on 1019, 100.5, 1450, WGNS, we'll look at a few things in terms of we'll probably do a recap and let you know where the power outages are now that we're keeping an eye on. Those have not gone up of late. Well, they did just go up a little bit, but not here. They went up in Cannon County. So a few outages reported there added to the totals that were here. But once we get this warning canceled, The only area in Rutherford County that could still be seeing some high winds is down the far southeastern corner, from Big Springs, maybe even up to Floration and Kittrell and Reedyville. But that will soon, in the next few minutes, be out of here, and then we'll be in pretty good shape. I see a lot of you who have said, I'm signing off, going to bed. If you're not in this severe thunderstorm warning, you are in good shape to go to bed. I know you may see Rutherford County still in the tornado watch in this reddish color, but, well, it went away for a second. I'm not sure why. They may be doing more trimming. I'm sure it'll come back here in just a second. There we go. But where our severe thunderstorm warning is the only area that could see any high winds that could be dangerous in terms of bringing any straight line wind damage. Outside of there, good shape. Got it, Jonathan. The reason I said Floration is because it's right there at Floration Road. And I had a brother that lived on Floration Road, and my brain did not see the eye. And I knew Floration Road was there. And my brain just went to that. I saw that comment there several times, so I thought I would just go ahead and address that. Question about, is Murfreesboro okay now? Yeah, I think we're good. Not seeing any specific questions. And yeah, we're still getting some heavy rain in areas. The entire county is seeing rain. But right now, the only thunderstorm activity, the only lightning strikes that we're getting is in the south eastern corner. From Kittrell, Floriton, Pleasant View, Gum, Big Springs, Fosterville, Short Creek, Kittrell, Reedyville. But that will quickly be moving out. About half of our severe thunderstorm warning, in fact, conditions have quieted down considerably. See a lot of people saying good night, so good night to those who are signing off. Thanks for stopping by Rutherford Weather. I would say hope to see you soon, but if this is where we see you, maybe not so soon. Let's hope. We'll see. We try to keep track of severe weather. If you've just now found Rutherford Weather, we do cover Rutherford County, Tennessee. During warnings, we've got radio coverage. We have been on now for 2 hours on the video side, probably about an hour of that on radio. And just keeping you updated. There are a lot of people with, I don't know how many in Rutherford County are without power. It is starting to look like the bulk of the county, of the 2,463 outages MTE has, there are higher concentrations in Rutherford County. I'll just say that. I know probably about half. if not slightly more. Looks like we've cleared the outage back in Eagleville, so that's good news. We had a lot of you out there. But we do have several outages still in the downtown Murfreesboro area around the John Bragg Highway and over near the university. That's where we have about 1,300 without power. Let me see if I can pull that up here on the big map. So we can kind of give you a good idea of the area that we're talking about. There's Halls Hill Pike. And that should be Rutherford Boulevard, right? Yeah. So the power outage is going to be roughly in an area just around the university, the Lillard Farms Estates, close to the Las Casas Villa and almost up to 96, out the Halls Hill Pike and Double Springs to near John Bragg Highway. But right along Rutherford Boulevard there. It's about 1,300 without power in that location. I guess I've sparked a debate about fluoration or fluoritin or whatever. But well, I tell you what, I think we're good. Let me pop this over because I think I just saw this pop up. And the county is without a severe thunderstorm warning. So we are good. Technically, there is still a tornado watch in effect. That will come away shortly. What we're left with are power outages, maybe some downed limbs outside. I mean, these winds were coming in at a good 60, 70 miles an hour, maybe even higher than that as the storms were coming in. There is not a second line forming for the person who mentioned that. There are some more storms that are back from Nashville to Franklin, but these are not storms that are going to pose any type of severe problem. Our ingredients are gone. I'll point your attention to McMinnville. It's 70. It's 57 in Murfreesboro right now at the airport. From Murfreesboro, let's go back to the west. Up in Dixon, it's 48. So here in the next hour, we're going to drop from the 50s into the 40s, and we're going to drop into the 30s. There will still be precipitation coming down. In fact, you could see some snow showers tomorrow. Likely. Not enough to have road problems or anything like that. It's been too warm. But with the warnings all out of the way, we are going to step away on radio. That's WGNS in Murfreesboro, WGNS Murfreesboro, Smyrna, Murfreesboro 1019, Smyrna 100.5, 1450, covering you around Rutherford County. Be sure to follow WGNSradio.com as well. Any type of reports we need to put out there, we will. But continuing to follow the power outage situation. We've highlighted the areas in Rutherford County, the main areas. Eagleville had a pretty substantial power outage. Those have been dealt with and taken care of, it looks like. But still, somewhere around 1,500 plus power outages around Mercury Boulevard. It's still Mercury Boulevard on their map, and it's Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard up toward Minerva Drive, and then the one that around Halls Hill Pike to East Main Street along North Rutherford. Those are the two big outages. There's also about 36 or so without power near Jefferson Pike and Cutoff Road. There are others that are scattered through the county. One along Old Nashville Highway and Northwest Broad Street. Just a few there around 840 interchange. But Middle Tennessee Electric is out and working hard at this moment, I promise, to make sure that our power is taken care of there. So we will break away from our coverage on radio, go back to regular programming. I'll spend just a few more seconds here for those several thousand of you who are still with us here on the streaming channels. Someone said they got a tornado warning. Not here. Not in Rutherford County. We're in good shape in Rutherford County, Tennessee. All right. So stay good out there, friends. If you've been joining us on WGNS, thanks for being with us here on our Rutherford Weather Severe Weather coverage. I'm Brian Barrett signing off. Until next time over there, take care out there. Okay, thanks for giving me a second to get that switch back over. I'm paranoid, so let me check once more time. Nope, I'm not on radio. So there we go. We're off radio. Sometimes I get a little paranoid about that. Okay. Any further questions real quick? Because it has been a long day of waiting, and then, okay, when should we go on? I didn't want to go on too early. So there was no panic, things like that. Just looking at a few of my texts, trying to catch up on some of those too. Get my text down. If you've got any questions, want to say anything? Kristen, I guess you thought I left you. I was just breaking away on radio coverage. Going to stay here for just another few moments, answer any of your questions. If you've got any, want to say anything to us, let me know. But we are all good in Rutherford County. We will soon be out of the even the tornado watch, I would say. There are some damage reports, some considerable damage in other places. Just so thankful we didn't have that here. Anything in chat? Go ahead and throw it up there real quick. Yes, Shane, I will be. That's why I'm going to go to bed shortly. Got to get up bright and early in the morning to be on radio. Not used to getting much sleep, though. I think I might have missed a notification. Yep, it was from 24 minutes ago. Regina had checked back in, and I missed her. I'm sorry about that. I'll have to send her an email. You're welcome, Madison. Any questions? I'll give it another couple of minutes here. While we're waiting, we'll take a look at some of our cameras, large cameras we've got out there. This is from downtown Murfreesboro. Speaking of WGNS, looking off to the east, we may see a lightning strike or two. Rain still continues, but nothing too bad. Here in the Siegel area, it's calmed down tremendously. From the courthouse, Rutherford County, looking off to the north and east, we're good there too. So, general thunderstorms will continue. Temperatures will continue to drop. Let me draw your attention here. I told you this a second ago. 70 in McMinnville, where they're about to get smacked with what we had just a few minutes ago. It's 57 in Murfreesboro, 59 at the Smyrna airport. It's 55 up here in Nashville. So the temperatures are falling and falling fast. By the time you wake up in the morning, you can expect some snow. In fact, now that we have gotten past this, let me bring up our model, one of our models here. And load this up and show you. Okay, so where are we now? Back it up to right here. 1 o'clock. We still see some pretty decent returns coming in on the radar, future radar. This is 2 a.m. Here's 3 a.m. Here's 4 a.m. Here's 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. And look what's swinging in from the north at 7 a.m. 8, 9 o'clock tomorrow, snow. This is showing a pretty decent return. I don't know if we'll get this much snowfall out of it, but it shows we could see some snowfall throughout the day. That goes on in well into the next morning. Tornado watch canceled, Rutherford County. So let me take you back here to radar. Turn off the radar. And this just came in before the radar was even updated. But now, Rutherford County, no longer under the tornado watch. Bedford County, no longer under the tornado watch. Wait a minute. I spoke too soon. Rutherford County, it did cancel Bedford County. Bedford, Giles, Smith, and Wilson. That was Trousdale. Marshall. Yep. Okay. So the tornado watch is going to continue roughly through here. Aha, look, it just updated. Well, it all went away. It's going to come back. There we go. That's what happens when they cancel it and then they continue it. So no longer under a tornado warning. Still a lot of thunder and lightning out there, yes. But this is sleeping weather now. Okay? Sleeping weather. Let's all do that. Are you ready? Sleeping weather. Still keeping an eye on all those power outages, though. And the power outage situation is about the same here in Rutherford County as it has been. So we'll continue to watch that. If you're without power, I can guarantee you Middle Tennessee electric crews are out there. They're working on it. So we're going to take care of it as quickly as they can. Now that the storms have passed, they can work faster. You know, it's kind of hard when it's still lightning out to go up and be putting up power poles and lines and things. But our watch has been canceled. So with that, we're going to end our stream here just over 2 hours into it. Thank you so much for being with us here on Rutherford Weather. Do us a favor if you're still there. One thing that you can do before you leave is to throw a thumbs up, a like, make a comment on the stream. That's going to help us push this out to as many people as we possibly can here in Rutherford County that want Rutherford County, Tennessee weather. Okay? So if you could help us do that, that's worth $1 million, I'm telling you. And it's not for any self-gratification or anything like that. It's to keep you updated in Rutherford County on what's going on with Rutherford County, Tennessee weather. And that's why we're here. So if you could do that, help us out, share with your friends and family who live in Rutherford County. If you enjoyed what we were doing, the coverage that you got, well, that's how you can help us out a lot. All right. So let's go to bed, everybody. That's going to wrap up our coverage here on Rutherford Weather. Thank you for getting through the storm with us. Hopefully it's not a busy spring. Maybe. But hopefully we won't have too many of these late night parties. But we'll be here for you. Appreciate you being with us tonight. Thanks to Regina Kroll, who was keeping us updated, and those behind the scenes, and all those folks who sent text and messages here in the chat, and the National Weather Service. Man, they do a bang-up job at the Nashville National Weather Service for all of Middle Tennessee. We appreciate them as well. And until next time, take care out there.